All right, everybody, welcome back to the #1 television program in the history of the entire universe. I am Brian Lee Durfee, author of The Forgetting Moon, The Blackest Heart, and The Lonesome Crown, all three books published by Simon & Schuster's Saga Press. Today I'm going to be reviewing The Elf Queen of Shannara, or Shannara, however you want to pronounce it. This is book number 3 in the, I think it's the Heritage of Shannara series. Yeah, book number 3. I think it says the Heritage there. Came out in 1992. You know, Terry Brooks is one of my favorite authors of all time. I mean, I imagine this book is signed by Terry Brooks. Yes, most of my collection has been signed by Terry Brooks. And I got a lot of Terry Brooks books. Came out in 1992. I've been reviewing a lot of these books on my channel, so if you want to watch, this is part of a, did I say trilogy? I think it's a quadrilogy. There's 4 books in the series, whatever that's called. I did read and review the Scions of Shannara, Scions of Shannara, the Scions of Shannara. I read and reviewed The Druid of Shannara, book number 2. So now we're to book number 3. And within the next month or two, I will be reading and reviewing the final book, number 4, Talismans of Shannara. But anyway, those are right there. Let's talk about the cover first, because you know I love graphic design and cover illustration. Each one of these books has a great illustration by Keith Parkinson. And when we put them all on the shelf together, they just look like they belong in the same series. They just look great. And then when we get the spines here together, it looks like they all belong in the same series. Again, good job, Del Rey Books, of not picking that part of it up. They use the same cover design and cover artist for all 4 books, and that's great. Let's take a closer look at this painting. It's really cool. We've got our main character, Wherein right here, and we've got her bodyguard, Garth, and they're fighting some weird creature in the swamps. But anyway, there's also maps in here, which are cool. And so let's talk about the elves, the Elf Queen of Shannara. So this book of 4 books, the first book, and this is a reread. I think I've read this. I think this is the 3rd time I've read these 4 books. The first book, The Scions of Shannara, all the characters are kind of together adventuring. In book number 2, well, they split off, and then we get an adventure with a handful of the characters, and we don't see some of the other characters. And then in book 3, we get this adventure with Wherein and her bodyguard, and we don't see many of the characters. And then at the 4th book, they all come back together again. Now, in previous readings of this, Elf Queen of Shannara was always kind of my least favorite, because it leaves, like, the main group of characters through the story, it just kind of leaves them out. And it just talks about the adventure of the elf and her bodyguard. I never really it was always just my least favorite. And now, after reading it again for the 3rd time, this whole series, did it rise up above? And no, it's still kind of my least favorite. It just is. It just is. That doesn't mean to say it's not a great book. It's a fantastic adventure, and I really liked the character of Wherein herself. She is on an adventure. The elves, who are an integral part of the Shannara world, in this book of 4 books, the elves are non-existent. They have been trapped behind a magical, supernatural barrier of some kind. I can show you on the map what it is. We've got the rest of the Shannara world, and then up here in the corner, we've got the little magical island over here where the elves have kind of been banished to. There's a barrier, and can we break the barrier and bring the elves back to the land? Well, in comes our 2 adventurers, Wherein and Garth, and they're going to go see what they can find out about this magical hidden place. I mean, it's just a legend. Were the elves real? Are they real? Can they be found and brought back to save the world? The Elf Queen, well, of course, the reader, we all know that the elves are real and that they probably get... The Queen of the Elves has awaited the arrival of their prophesied savior who will save them from this place they've been banished to. And of course, the prophesied savior is Wherein. Wherein Residue. Oh, okay. We'll edit that out. Wherein is searching, not only is she searching for the lost elves, but she is also searching for her parents, because she, of course, is an orphan bastard. As most fantasy novels need at least a handful of orphan bastards. And she is one of them. And she's on her way to find her heritage and the lost elves. Find the elves and return them to the lands of men. The shade of the druid Alanon had ordered Wherein. It was an impossible task. The elves had been gone from the Westlands for more than 100 years. There was not even a trace of their former city of Arborlawn left to mark their passing. No one in the Westlands knew of them except, a handful of people. One of which is the Addershag. A blind old woman had given instructions to find a place on the coast of the Blue Divide, build a fire, and keep it burning for 3 days, and one will come to you to show you where the elves are. And that would be Tiger Ty, the Wing Rider. And he comes to carry Wherein and Garth off to this magical, mystical island, kind of like Jurassic Park, but weirder. Anyway, they end up in this adventure. Now Wherein is carrying the elf stones, the famed elf stones of Shannara, which are in every Shannara book. They're magical, but she's afraid of them. She fears them. She doesn't know what they are, what they do. And the island that they adventure to is filled with strange creatures. Drakels, rocks, splinter cats, and tree squeaks, and many, many more. And fog isn't even fog. It's called Vogue. And it's just an alien kind of planet. It's like, hey, let's take the Shannara people, take them to this alien-like jungle where everything is different and wacky, and let's see if the lost elves are out there, and if Wherein can find her heritage, channel the elf stones, and bring the elves back to the Westlands. That's the adventure. It's pretty straightforward. Lot of action. I did like Wherein, her bodyguard. I liked that relationship. It was a friendship, not a love interest kind of a thing. That was fantastic. It's a good book. It's a good book that fits into this 4 books as it finishes. I mean, it is the 4th best book of the 4, in my opinion, still. But that's just because we kind of abandoned some of the plot threads that I actually enjoyed more than Wrein's. But anyway, fear not. All of the plot threads will converge again in book 4, and I will be rereading this one. So let's give this one a 8 out of 10, and just live with that score.